My opinion on the Dare stones. I want to say when I was younger and I had heard about the Dare stones, I was intrigued. So on a fall morning in 1937, an Emory University geologist was walking down a hallway in the alumni building when he bumped into a middle-aged man carrying a rock. The man explained that he was a tourist who had found the 21-pound stone near the North Carolina-Virginia border. He was looking for someone to explain the strange markings on its gray surface. When a team of Emory scholars deciphered the carved message, they were stunned to find a heart-ending plea from a grieving daughter to her father, detailing the bloody murder of her husband and child, and potentially solving the nation's oldest mystery. The writer claimed to be Eleanor Dare, and the message was addressed to her absent father, Governor John White. Married to Ananias Dare, Eleanor gave birth to Virginia, the first English child born in the New World. Shortly after, the English colonists landed on Roanoke Island. The carefully carved letters told a bone-chilling story, and here's what the stone says. Father, soon after you go, for England we came hither. The tale begins. The colonists suffered 2 years of ennui, misery, and war that led to the death of more than half the settlers. Tragedy struck when the Indian shamans warned that the spirits were angry, and all the remaining English, save 7, were abruptly killed. Among the dead were mine child, and Ananias to slain with much misery. The dead were buried 4 miles east of this river, with their names writ out there on rock. The tourist said he found the stone about 50 miles inland from Roanoke Island, matching White's passing mention that the settlers had planned to move 50 miles into the Main. So the Emory team in 1938 declared the stone's message to be authentic, and the find quickly became America's most surprising archaeological discovery on the 350th anniversary of the Lost Colony. Soon after, a Georgia stonecutter found more than 3 dozen stones, also claiming to have been written by Dare. They told a Gothic story of a nightmarish trek by Eleanor and the remaining colonists, ending not far from what is now Atlanta, Georgia. By then, Emory officials had grown skeptical of the first stone's authenticity after the tourist could not be located, and the rock was transferred to Roanoke College outside Atlanta. In 1940, a team of 3 dozen experts, led by the esteemed Harvard historian Samuel Eliot Morison, met at Roanoke to study all the rocks. They declared the predominance of evidence points to the authenticity of the stones. The news made headlines around the nation, but a skeptical reporter with the Saturday Evening Post, in a devastating 1941 investigative article, unmasked the Georgia stonecutter as a fraud. The revelation damaged academic careers and embarrassed Roanoke for the next 3/4 of a century, including the so-called Dare stones. For the next 3/4 of a century, the so-called Dare stones, including the first found by the tourists, were hidden in a college basement. So in 2016, the president of Roanoke, geologist Ed Schrader, took the first stone to the University of North Carolina at Asheville for analysis, After slicing off one end of the quartzite stone, he discovered the interior was bright white, while the exterior and carvings were much darker. The original inscription would have been a stark contrast to the weathered exterior, a good choice for a Roanoke colonist, but a poor one for a modern forger. As Matthew Champion, who leads the United Kingdom's Norfolk Medieval Graffiti Survey, explains, a freshly cut inscription would appear bright white on the stone, particularly so on this type of stone, and it takes a great deal of time for that whiteness to fade. Champion and Schrader agree that using chemicals to mask the color, particularly in 1930s, would have been difficult. Eric Don, a Los Angeles art conservator who analyzed the Dead Sea Scrolls and Sistine Chapel frescoes, says that new methods for identifying trace elements and isotopes, as well as ultraviolet and multispectral photography, could help determine the truth of the stone's message, but detailed chemical analysis of the carving's crevices has yet to be done. Epigraphy, the study of inscriptions, could provide another line of evidence. Heather Wolf at the Folger Shakespeare Library in Washington, D.C. exclaimed, "High-resolution images of the stones," and concluded, "There is nothing that jumps out as a forgery." Her doubt was the use of Eleanor Dare's 3 initials, EWD. This was not a standard way to sign one's name in that era. Another scholar of Elizabethan literature, John Wilson of Cambridge University, adds, "There's nothing in the inscription that couldn't be of its purported date." Not everyone agrees, citing the initials, the use of Arabic numerals, and several word choices unlikely to have been in Eleanor Dare's repertoire. Diarmid N.J. McCulloch, a Tudor historian at Oxford University, dismisses the carved messages as having all the plausibility of Dick Van Dyke's Cockney accent in Mary Poppins. What's needed, says Champion, is a multidisciplinary study of the stone that uses new evidence in chemical analysis, epigraphy, and the study of rock cut Elizabethan inscriptions to produce fresh data. Bruno Schrader hopes to organize such a study in the near future to see once and for all whether the message writ on rock is one of America's most important artifacts or a remarkable fake that dupes some of the country's most respected scholars. So yeah, I remember looking into the Dare Stone, and the original Dare Stone did always strike me as very interesting and curious. However, the other stones, legitimate. It seems like the first Dare Stone got a lot of attention, and then maybe someone else. It was typical at the time period, so well, we just don't know yet, so we'll have to find out. But yeah, the Lost Colony is always interesting, and there's no answers. I've also heard that, so if one group goes 50 miles one way and the other group goes 50 miles another way, the likelihood of every single one of those people dying before finding a civilization that's conducive to them living and not being able to get word out is unrealistic, in my opinion, because there was over 100 people there when John White left the island. Second, the fact that they're left in August on this island off the coast of North Carolina in August, you have no idea, living on the coast of New England, how many hurricanes literally hit that island almost always. These people would have had no way to have prepared for such a hurricane, or the almost constant tornadoes. I I don't know. It just seems like, to me, I think a hurricane hit the island, and I think that's what happened, and they didn't know what to do, and they didn't have anything in place like we have today for safety during a hurricane or any of that. Cape Hatteras and hurricanes are synonymous with each other. And I think that if we do find evidence of Roanoke colonists, it will be it being under the water somewhere. That's my interpretation, and that's what my belief is. I have no facts to back that up, except for the fact that Cape Hatteras prone for hurricanes, and they're so bad there. Like we're not talking about, we're not talking about hurricane force winds like northern New England, where they're like dangerous, yes, but we get like 1s or 2s. I'm talking about like 5s. And when hurricanes hit there, still even to this day, with all of the building technology that we have today, with everything we have, those islands get torn apart year after year. It's almost shocking that anybody chooses to live there. I'm baffled by it. So this is what I have on Roanoke Island, and I hope it's not too preachy, but these are just some of my opinions. Like I said, I have no facts to back anything that I say personally up with, except for what the historians and the archaeologists have said. If it's a statement of my fact, I have no, except for my opinion, nothing. Alright, so I hope you all learned a lot, and I will see you all again soon.